Good morning, and welcome to this week's midweek devotion, Reaping Shouts of Joy. I know that I am not the only one who's having 1980s flashbacks because of the war in the Ukraine. Scenes from 1980s movies like War Games or Red Dawn, White Nights, or even Damnation Alley keep popping into my head. Well, I was a child of the 80s and I still love 80s music and TV and movies. The Cold War isn't something that I'm ever hoping to relive. We were constantly worried about nuclear war. We were sure our world would become a radioactive piece of slag. The question was when. Now there are rumbles of nuclear weapons being considered again. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go back to that undercurrent of fear again. Now, the Cold War did eventually come to an end. We were able to think of other things like the International Space Station and working together. The psalm for this week, I think, fits our situation today pretty well. Psalm 126 starts with remembering how God took care of us in the past. Then it moves into a prayer that God take care of us again now. That prayer, I think, is really appropriate to pray for the people in the Ukraine today. Listen to Psalm 126. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dream. Then our mouths were filled with laughter and our tongue with shouts of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we rejoiced. Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like the watercourses in the Negeb. May those who sow in tears reap with shouts of joy. Those who go out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, carrying their sheaves. Things are scary right now. They look bad now. But we know that we have a faithful God, a God who is on the side of refugees, those who are mourning, those who are suffering, those who are afraid. And those who cause this type of evil and suffering will be accountable to God, because our God is a God of justice. So what do we do? Those of us who are safe at home, far from the fighting. Well, we can give to relief efforts that are helping the refugees. We can pray. We can show that we stand with those who are suffering. And we can let our politicians know that this kind of evil must be stopped. It can't be allowed to exist. I found another suggestion of what we could do in a song that popped in my head when I was reading the Psalms. Now, I admit I am not that familiar with the whole song. It's probably one that I heard my grandmother's duty doing when I was a child. So I only know the chorus of Bringing in the Sheaves by Noel Shaw, which was written in 1874. So this song is in the public domain. So I can actually sing a little bit without getting in trouble. Goes, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves. Well, that is clearly from the psalm, but it doesn't tell us very much. And I have to admit, I didn't know what the verses say. But the verses give us something else we can do. I looked up the verses to the song. The first verse goes, sowing in the morning, sowing seeds of kindness, sowing in the noontide and the dewy eve, waiting for the harvest and the time of reaping, we shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves. In the face of fear and evil, our job is to sow seeds of kindness, because the power of evil can't stand against the power of God's love. So I will close our devotion this morning with the words from the second verse of Bringing in the Sheaves. Going forth with weeping, sowing for the master. Though the loss sustained, our spirit often grieves. When our weeping is over, he will bid us welcome, and we shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheaves. Have a blessed week.